What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here with your top 5 stories from the past 24 hours. Today, we are talking about the future. This is the future of the X-Men movie universe as we know it. We actually have a bit of a mishap here. Today, we're actually talking about the King Kong sequel. We're talking about Walking Dead. We got a couple of casting stories. We've got Bullseye and Daredevil. Charlie Cox really wants to see him there. And we have Tom Holland weighing in on Spider-Man vs. Batman. All that and more in Comic Book Now. First of all, we got our first look at Kong Skull Island earlier today. Let's bring up the picture here. We have our first look at the gorilla from the upcoming reboot of the franchise here. This is going to overlap with the Godzilla franchise. Our first look came today. We got the trailer at San Diego Comic-Con earlier this month. The gorilla was teased in there, but now we have our first look. You can watch the trailer, you can watch a clip, and you can see this image and more here from the director himself on ComicBook.com right now. I totally suggest heading over there to check it out. But if you're wondering if Godzilla will be mentioned or dinosaurs will be seen, I can tell you that that is not going to happen in this movie. Sorry to disappoint, but the idea of these movies standing on their own is actually a good thing instead of throwing everything at it the first time around. Next up, Walking Dead fans have a couple of new ladies. They belong to Negan's Savior group to get excited about. Elizabeth Ludlow will debut in this Sunday's episode as Arat, a mirrored version of Tara from Robert Kirkman's comics. Look at that, they're spelt backwards. Clever, good job, guys. And Lindsley Register made her debut in the Cell episode as Laura just last weekend. It's interesting because Laura did not debut until issue 148, and the show has only reached a story equivalence of issue 108. In any case, this Sunday's extended episode is phenomenal. It's an episode that is an absolute tribute to comic book fans, one of my favorites, and I feel bad for anybody who has stopped watching. If you enjoy Negan's dialogue, you are in for a treat. Next up, Charlie Cox has a few ideas for Daredevil, and one of them involves Bullseye. That's right, Daredevil himself wants to see the iconic villain brought into the Netflix series. Of course, Colin Farrell wouldn't be playing him, but he could certainly be a welcome addition to the family of live-action Marvel villains. I think we would all agree on that. Cox also joked that Deborah Ann Woll, the actress playing Karen Page, does not want to see Bullseye come into play because, well, we all know how that went for that character in the comics. Next up, WWE has upped the number of pay-per-view events to 2 a month, but we'll be cutting back from the original plans for 2017 schedule. The WWE website still lists 18 pay-per-view events on their calendar for 2017, though only the Royal Rumble, Fastlane, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the 2 NXT stops have dates as well as locations confirmed. The most pay-per-view events in a single calendar year was 16 in 2006. We'll see how that plays out. And finally, Batman vs. Spider-Man Dawn of Legal Franchise Nightmares would apparently be a pretty short fight. If you ask Tom Holland in a lifelong argument with his friend Harrison, Holland says Spider-Man would simply win in a fight because he is playing him. So, quote, shut your face. I'm not sure Tom would talk like that if he was standing in front of Batman himself, Ben Affleck. I have interviewed both of those guys, and there is quite a size difference between 19-year-old Tom Holland and 30, maybe 40-something Affleck. They're pretty different gap. Let's see what the questions look like if we have anything to talk about real quick. What do we got? Godzilla vs. King Kong, summer 2020. Sky Patterson's excited. Loyal viewer. Looks like a good film. Well, haven't seen anything from it yet, but I know we're excited. Everything's crossing over these days. Will Karen or Elektra die soon? Yeah, that's a good question. That's just what Charlie was referencing when he said Deborah Ann Woll does not want to see Bullseye on the movie. If I could play any superhero in the MCU, who would I want to play? One that's existing, Iron Man would be the most fun, but I totally want to play Sam Alexander Nova. That'd be so much fun. Will we have another King Kong movie after Kong Skull Island? Well, they're going to cross over with Godzilla, so we have the Godzilla movie, and then we have Godzilla vs. King Kong in 2020. Thanks to Sky Patterson for the release date in our comment section. Will Venom appear in the upcoming 6 Spider-Man movies? I don't know. I do know, I can tell you this, Sony is still planning on a standalone Venom movie. Whether or not that's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or not is to be decided, but they did mention on their Spider-Man Homecoming set visit that a Venom movie is still in the plans. That's really all I've heard about it. So, yeah, I would imagine, technically Spider-Man is still a Sony property, although he's appearing in Disney Marvel Studios films. Anything could happen there. Let's just get a couple more questions here. Do I think Captain America is Red Skull? If that's a comic book reference, I'm not sure. In the movies, absolutely not, but I think Red Skull will probably be back. Any standalone villain movies? Oh, man, Harley Quinn, I guess, is the only one. And any news on God of War by chance? I would love to see anything on God of War. I hope that game comes out faster and they make a movie about it sooner than later. But that's all we got time for today, guys. I see the comment section starting to get fired up. Feel free to shoot those my way on Twitter at BrandonDavisBD. I take a little bit of time to answer as many people as I can after each of these videos. And make sure you're following ComicBook.com, at ComicBook on Twitter, and at ComicBook Now on Instagram. See you later, guys.